I'm going to begin, Matt, by just asking, I mean, you've written screenplays before for other filmmakers to take on. What was it about this particular one that made you think, I have to direct this?
Well, we conceived it as something that I was going to direct. So that was always the goal from the beginning. And in a way, we kind of wrote it to be something that we could make, if we had to, for a really low budget. Because I didn't, I had other projects I was trying to get off the ground that hadn't necessarily worked for whatever reason, and so I was determined to kind of eliminate all those roadblocks from the beginning and do something that was manageable, that I felt like I could do as a first feature.
And I mean, social media is always evolving and changing, even if it's going from 140 characters to 280 or Instagram stories, etc. Right. So did much change over the course of production, just based purely on the fact that because you're delving into the world of social media, and social media is always evolving, did much kind of get altered along the way?
Well, yeah, actually, it was really important to me that we shoot the actual shots of the phone. I didn't want to have like bubbles popping up on screen and anything. So, it was really important to me that we shoot it practically and not do like CG screen replacement. And then it turns out halfway through the shoot, Instagram completely updated their the interface of their app and completely changed it. And so all the shots that we had done before just didn't work. And we ended up having to go back and replace those digitally. So, ironically, and then also Eagle Eye viewers will probably notice that Instagram stories didn't exist when we shot the film. So that was a thing that came out even after, in post or whatever. So that was, it's just changing so much, it's hard to keep up.
I didn't actually know until I saw Ingrid do it that if you touch it twice, it likes something.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't even know. I thought you had to go and find the little thing in the corner. No, you can just double tap.
It's so easy.
I know. Thanks, Ingrid. She is a very unpredictable, quite dangerous character in many ways. But the viewer's always on her side. Was that quite a challenge to ensure that the viewer always roots for her cause, despite the fact that she's quite flawed?
Yeah, it was tricky. I mean, it was harder in a script form, I think. But once we cast Aubrey, I think she brought so much vulnerability and humanity and humor to it that I think it made her feel so well-rounded. And so, we did our best in the script to give her moments of I guess likability or at least relatability. But I think the best decision that we made was probably casting Aubrey.
I mean, there were so many kind of cinematic creations that I could see in Ingrid. But Sandra Bernhard in King of Comedy, was that one that came up in conversation at all? Because I could see some sort of slight similarities there.
Yeah, it was one of the first films that actually Aubrey and I talked about in terms of a reference point. But I love that movie, and I actually discovered it quite late. It was a movie of Scorsese's that I had missed when I was like going through his thing. I think it's one of his. It's become more well known, I think, over the last few years. But it was that movie, Chuck and Buck, Talented Mr. Ripley. Those were all sort of our touchstones.
I think The King of Comedy is Scorsese's best movie, actually.
I think I would maybe rank Taxi Driver slightly above, but I think it's definitely in my top 3, I think.
Not to sort of just change the tone of the interview, but she is suffering from mental illness, Ingrid.
Yeah.
I think in this movie. I mean, was it quite important then to be quite delicate with the portrayal of her and ensure the viewer's never kind of laughing at her, if that makes sense? Because I mean, she's quite a fragile creation in many ways as well.
Yeah, we didn't. We tried to present the film as if it was from her perspective. So when we were making the score, for instance, we didn't want to. If she's doing something creepy in the film, it might have like a playful kind of music that goes along with it. And the intention behind that was that she doesn't think what she's doing is creepy. She thinks that she's maybe being sneaky or something, but she's not, we didn't want to have the film be commenting on her. And so I think it can be, for some people, it's maybe a little bit jarring because it's like, wait, it seems like, why aren't we portraying this in a more sinister way? But I think our intention was always to sort of present everything as it would be from her perspective.
I mean, according to IMDb Trivia, which is obviously one of the most reliable sources of information on the internet,
right?
You got into a spot of bother on set. You got a little accident. Is that right?
Is that on IMDb?
That's on IMDb Trivia.
Oh, it's out there now.
So it's out there.
Yeah.
What happened there?
I walked through a glass door.
That's like a comedy sketch.
I know it was potentially really could have been really bad. But yeah, I walked right through and shattered this glass door, and then I turned around obviously right after, and the whole cast and crew was all standing there staring at me with their mouths open. And I looked down and there was blood coming onto the ground, and I didn't know where it was coming from, and it turned out I just cut my elbow. I had like a little scar right here, a little 1-inch scar, and they needed 3 stitches. That was it.
Oh. Because there's a place near where I live called Chicken Cottage, and the glass windows were so clean that I thought the door was open, and I ran straight in and smashed my face and broke my nose.
Oh no, you bounced off?
Yeah, I literally bounced off.
Oh, so you're obviously not as strong as I am. No. But I just smashed right through it.
Yeah, and I was wondering too, because obviously Instagram is such a big part of this. What's your favorite account on Instagram to follow? Have you got? Is there one that you most enjoy?
My favorite accounts are the meme accounts. So I love official Sean Penn, Versace Tamagotchi, Fuck Jerry. You know, all those. I just think those are so funny, and memes have kind of become like their own art form in a way, I think.
And just finally, what's next for you? What have you got coming up in the pipeline?
I have a couple books that I'm adapting that haven't been announced yet, but hopefully one of those will be the next thing.
Are you allowed to say what they are yet, or is it too
Not
early?
yet, unfortunately. I don't want to scare anybody.
Well, I'm interviewing you in about 2 minutes' time. Maybe you'll be able to mention the next one.
Yeah, there you go.
Cool. Well, thanks so much for your time
Thanks
today.
Thanks so much.
Cheers.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Hey You Guys!
Hey You Guys, huh?
Hey, you guys.
Is that from the Goonies?
It is indeed, yeah.
Nice.
Hey,